If you're overhead pressing like this with your ribs popped out and your elbows flaring to the side, shoulders climbing up towards your ears, it's no wonder why your shoulder joint is screaming. You're not building strength, you're just stripping the cartilage off of your joints one bad rep at a time. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the biggest shoulder pressing mistakes that are quietly wrecking not just your shoulders, but your entire body, and exactly how to fix them at the root before it's too late. Because here's the thing most people never realize. When your shoulder stops moving the way that it's supposed to, your body has no choice but to steal that motion from somewhere else. That tightness you feel in your elbows, that tension gripping your low back when you swing. It's not random. It's not just because you're getting older. It's a silent chain reaction that is set off by your broken shoulder mechanics. You stretch, you hammer these core exercises, you strengthen everything except what actually needs fixing. And then one day you're stuck riding the golf cart, sipping a beer, watching your friends, maybe potential business partners, all having fun while you just sit there too beat up to even swing a club without pain. Most guys don't connect the dots until that MRI lights up or until they're signing up for injections and surgeries or even worse. But if you're watching this right now, you still have a shot, not just to fix your shoulders, but to rebuild your entire body the right way from the ground up. And it starts with what I'm about to show you. First off, let's get it straight that this goes way deeper than just muscles, because if you're sitting all day and you're stressed out and your breathing is shallow up here in your chest and your neck area, then your nervous system locks your body up before you even move, before you get in your car and go to the gym, before you start your banded warm-up drills. Your traps are going to be tight, your ribs are going to lift up, and your spine is going to tighten up. And then you try and lift heavy on top of that. It's no wonder why your shoulders hurt. Because, guys, it's not just about activating muscles, it's about resetting how your entire system works, how you stay calm under pressure, how you create real stability through your core, and how you move like a strong connected unit, not a collection of parts that are fighting against each other. If you don't do this, then your body is just going to cheat to find fake strength. It's going to pull from the wrong places, your traps, your lower back, your elbows, anywhere it can. And so instead of rising to the occasion, you actually just fall to the level of your structure. And that's why so many of you end up having to flare your ribs just to be able to get your arms up overhead. And you don't even realize it. So let's break down exactly where this all goes wrong and how to finally fix it at the source. Now, the first major mistake that's setting you up for shoulder pain is that you are pressing with your elbows flared way out to the side like a fucking goalpost. And here's why that matters, because when you flare your elbows, you change how the ball of your shoulder, the humeral head, actually sits in the socket. Because instead of staying centered and stable, it starts gliding upward. And as it moves up, it jams the tendons at the top of your shoulder, especially the supraspinatus, directly against the bone. And that's called subacromial compression. And if you keep stacking reps and weight on top of that faulty position, you're not building strength or resilience. You're just building irritation and inflammation and eventually tissue damage. And it gets worse from there because at that flared angle, your rotator cuff, the muscles that are actually designed to stabilize the shoulder and protect the joint, just can't do their job properly because the big outer muscles like the deltoid are just going to dominate, and the stabilizer muscles inside deeper just lag behind. So you lose this fine control that is necessary for injury prevention, and you end up relying on brute tension instead of clean mechanics. And you might not feel this rep to rep, guys, but in weeks and months and years, you are setting yourself up for chronic tightness and instability and breakdown that no amount of stretching or prehab drills can undo. And that's why if you care about your performance and your longevity, you can't just press however some fucking Instagram influencer tells you to. You have to respect how your shoulder is actually designed to move. Instead of flaring your elbows, I need you to keep them tucked slightly forward, so at about 30 to 45 degrees. And this is gonna help you keep the joint centered. It's gonna help you let the rotator cuff stabilize, and all of your muscles are going to share the load equally instead of slamming tendons into your bones. It's a really small difference, but it's a difference between a shoulder that lasts for plenty more years and one that needs an MRI by next summer. Dial this in and you're going to finally stop training scared. You're going to stop wondering if today is the day that something tears or if you're one wrong move away from surgery. I've seen it firsthand with one of my clients, Kakura. He's a high level operator in an AI engineering company. And not only is he leading teams and even juggling some of his own side hustles, but he's also chasing a national title in wrestling in his almost mid 30s. And his stress is through the roof. He's spending hours hunched over a computer and he's training like a savage anyway. But his body, unfortunately, started paying the price. He had years of shoulder dislocations. He eventually had surgery, and the doctors fixed his instability, but it left him with his shoulder so locked up that he was basically fighting with one arm. And his physio gave him the same story that you've probably heard: strengthen this and stretch that. And none of it worked. And when we started working together, I showed him the truth. His real problem was not strength, it wasn't more mobility drills. It was that his entire system, his rib cage, his scapula, his shoulder wasn't connected. And he was muscling through movements instead of owning them. So we rebuilt the pressure, the positioning, the real reflexive stability that his body had just been missing. And when that clicked, he wasn't just back on the mats. He was moving sharper and stronger and freer than he had in years with both arms, with zero hesitation. Not just surviving, but actually thriving in his body. So if he could do it, guys, under that load and all that stress that he was facing, I know that you can too. And if you actually care about your future in this game, quite frankly, you better. Now, the second mistake is ribcage flare. Because if you're doing that and you got your elbows out to the side, you're really putting your shoulder in a tough spot that is probably going to cause problems if it already hasn't. So what's happening inside your body when you flare your ribs is that you're tilting your entire shoulder socket upwards. And again, similar to what happens when you flare the elbows, it's going to jam the ball of your shoulder upwards into the roof of the socket, and that over time is going to grind your cartilage and really again make your rotator cuff overwork, and that's where you get all that tightness and all the pain in the rotator cuff area. Secondly, you are cutting off the connection between your core and your shoulders. Because when your rib cage flares up like this, guys, your deep core muscles, the ones that actually stabilize you, I mean, even your abs, you don't have any stabilization there. They just completely shut off. And now your shoulders are moving off of this broken foundation with nothing to actually anchor into. And it's kind of like firing a cannon from a canoe. You can generate all the force you want, but without that stability underneath, it's just going to collapse. And your joints pay the price. Now, third and probably worst of all is that your low back starts absorbing all the force that your shoulders can't handle. Your lumbar spine basically folds up like a lawn chair, and every single time you press, it just grinds that deeper and deeper into compression. You could even see this from the back. If you look at yourself press while you're doing that, you can just see the folds on your skin and the compressive forces acting on your low back. And so what starts as shoulder tightness just becomes shoulder impingement, thoracic spine pain, and chronic low back issues that you just can't stretch or foam roll your way out of. And you think you're building strength, but again, you're really just building dysfunction rep by rep. One quick fix that you can start today is focusing on getting your core pressured the right way. And that way your rib cage is going to naturally stack over your pelvis and your shoulders are going to have a stable platform to move from. So I have a full video breakdown that will really help you understand this that I'll link for you at the end of the video. Get this right, and you won't just save your shoulders, but again, you're going to rebuild your entire foundation the right way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now you know the truth. Your shoulder pain was never about some weak muscles. It's just about the way that your shoulder, your rib cage, and your core all interact and work together as a system. The good news is that all of this is fixable. Even if you've been stuck for years, even if you've already had surgeries, you've already had the physical therapy appointments, you've done all the right things, but nothing really stuck. When you rebuild the foundation the right way, the way that your body was designed to move, pain just starts to naturally fade and performance just levels up every single time like clockwork. So if you're serious about fixing this the right way, there's a link below to apply to work with me. And from there, you'll have a real conversation with somebody from my team. And this is just to make sure it's a fit because sometimes it might make sense to get medical intervention first if needed. But if you are a good fit, you'll work with me directly to rewire your body's systems and just unlock a new level of strength and resilience and athleticism. And if you're somebody who needs a little bit more time before trusting somebody new, that's totally fine too. Like I said before, I'll be dropping somewhere on this screen the link to the Core Foundations video that I mentioned earlier. So you can start rewiring the basics of how your body is supposed to move when it's built for real performance. Either way, you've got your next step.